Good morning, students. In this video, I shall discuss the seed, its structure, types and significance. Now, what is the seed and what is its structure and what are the different types of seeds which are normally observed in the angiospermic plant and what are the important significance of this structure or seed. Now, the seed is actually the mature fertilized ovule. The ovule, which is one of the important part of the female reproductive system of the angiospermic plant. Normally, the ovule is present inside the ovary, and this ovule actually it contains the embryo sac. Inside the embryo sac, the egg cell is there. And after fertilization, what happens? Now, this ovule actually develops into the seed. Now, the seeds, their shape, size, structures are different in the different types of angiospermic plant. In some plant, the seeds are very minute or small in shape, size, and that is the smallest seed which is observed in the orchids, and it is only microscopic in structure and 85 micrometer its diameter, and the weight of this seed is the 0.81 microgram. Imagine how microscopic is it. So that is why these are very small seeds. Their shape, sizes are also different from plant to plant. Then the largest seed which is observed, that is the Lodacea malvaceae. Lodacea malvaceae, normally it is commonly called the double coconut, and the length of this seed is about 30 centimeter. Its length, the large scale which is normally 30 centimeter in long, and the circumference of the seed is normally 90 centimeter. Now, the weight of this seed is about 1.8 kg. That means it is around 2 kg in weight. So that is why this is the largest seed which is observed in the angiospermic plant. Now, what is the structure of an angiospermic seed? The seeds are no doubt different from plant to plant, but some common features which are mostly observed in almost all the seeds. Now, seed contains the outer covering, that is called the seed coat. So every seed, this is the seed coat, and this seed coat, it is developed from the outer covering of the ovule, that is called the integument. The outer integument develop the testa, which is very tough and thick. It is tough and it is thick. So this is the outer covering, that is called the testa. Just below the outer covering, that is the inner covering, that is called the tegmen. And this tegmen, it is thin and membranous in nature. So that is why these are the different layers which actually protect the inner contents of the seed. Mostly the embryo is present there and it protects the embryo. Now, next, the seed pore. It is also there here in this region. This is the seed pore, and through which, and it is actually developed from the micropyle of the ovule. The micropyle through which the pollen tubes actually enters into the ovule and reaches to the embryo sac, and the pollen grain fuse with the egg cell. So that is why this micropyle later on developed into the seed pore, and this seed pore which is responsible for the entry of the water into the seeds, and even the oxygen or the gaseous exchange also occur through this pore. So that is why this seed pore is important for the different purposes, like here exchange of water. When the water will enter into it, then only the germination starts. And during this germination process, normally the need of oxygen is also more. Now next one, that is the hilum, the groove which is present here. This is called the hilum. So this hilum which is developed from the ovule part. Now next, the raphe which connects the seed with the stalk, or it is also commonly called the stalk of the seed. Now, next important or the most important part of the seed, that is the embryo. Actually, this embryo, either it is monocot embryo or it is a dicot embryo, whatever the case may be, but it is present in the seed. And this embryo contains the upper part, that is the plumule, which actually develops into the shoot part of the plant or the new plant. So that is why this upper part, that is the plumule, the lower part, that is the radicle, which develop into the root of the new baby plant. Now, this is the cotyledon on either side. It is one cotyledon, this is another cotyledon. And this just above the cotyledon, that is called the epicotyle region. And just below the cotyledon, that is the hypocotyle region. So the epicotyle, hypocotyle, these are the different parts of the embryo. Now, this embryo is commonly called the baby plant, and it is normally developed from the fertilized zygote. That means when the pollen grain or the first pollen nucleus fuses with the egg nucleus to form this zygote, and this zygote later on develop into the embryo, and it remains inside the seed. Now, another important, it is the reserve food. Normally, whenever the embryo develop inside the seed, it needs certain food or certain nutrients for its development. If the nutrients will not be there, then the development of the embryo will not possible. So that is why either it is endospermic seed or non-endospermic seed, but the reserve food is highly essential for it. So that is why this endosperm, which is developed from the primary endosperm nucleus, PEN. This is primary endosperm nucleus. And this primary endosperm nucleus, normally, which is formed there when the diploid polar cell, or you can say the nucleus, it is nuclear diploid polar nucleus, that is having 2n number of chromosomes. When it fuses with the second pollen, and this second pollen is having haploid number of chromosomes, then it forms a triploid cell. So this is a triploid cell, and this triploid cell, which is also called the central cell, and this central cell now develop into the endosperm, and this endosperm actually contains the reserve food material, and endosperm development always precedes the embryo development, because before the development of the embryo, the reserve food material must be ensured so that it will get sufficient food for its development. Sometimes it converts into the cotyledon form, and sometimes it remains as the endospermic form. Now the monocot, in case of monocot, only one cotyledon is there, and in case of dicot, there are two cotyledons are there. So that is why these reserve food materials are there inside the seed. So these are the most important components of the seed, because these are the main components or the structure of the seed. Now after that, what are the different types of seeds which are normally found in the angiospermic plant? In case of angiospermic plant, there are different types of seeds. Normally, on the basis of the cotyledons present, on the basis of the cotyledon which are present there, they are either dicot seeds or they are monocot seeds. Then what are dicot seeds and what are monocot seeds? Now, when two cotyledons are there in the seed, then the seeds are called dicot seeds. And when there is only one cotyledon is there, then it is called a monocot seed, as we have already studied in our earlier classes. Now, these dicot seeds are again of two types. They are endospermic seeds or non-endospermic seeds. Then what are endospermic seeds and what are non-endospermic seeds? The endospermic seeds are also called the albuminous seeds, and normally in this case, the endosperm is persistent. The endosperm which is developed from the primary endosperm nucleus, and it develops into the primary endosperm cell, and it, from the primary endosperm cell it develops into the endosperm, and this endosperm which is completely a triploid cell. Okay, so these endospermic seeds, they contain the large amount of endosperm because it is not consumed or not utilized, and that is why they remain persistent inside the seed. But in this case, the cotyledons are very small, they are thin and papery. That means there is no well developed cotyledon present here. So most common example, that is your poppy seeds or the castor seeds. These are the examples of the endospermic seeds where the endosperm is persistent and is not consumed during the development of the embryo in the early stage. But sometimes in some dicot plants, what happens? The endosperm is completely used up, completely consumed by the developing embryo. And that is why they do not contain the endosperm during its development or after the completion of the development. That is why the cotyledons are now, they have played an important role and they are developed there, and these cotyledons are large, thick and fleshy. They are more, the common example here, that is your in the gram seed, pea seed or bean seed, even different pulses, the dal varieties. Now here what happened, you just see the two cotyledons, and here look at here, this is the gram seed, and how this gram seed, it contains the two cotyledons, and these cotyledons, they contain the reserve food materials for the developing baby plant or the future plant. So that is why these are called the non-endospermic seeds, but their cotyledons are very well developed, containing the reserve food materials for the baby plant. Now, next the monocot. When only one cotyledon is there, then it is the monocot seed. And these monocot seeds are normally endospermic seeds. Mostly they are endospermic in nature. And the common example are your wheat, maize, rice. So these are the common example of the monocot seeds, and which are endospermic in nature. That means they are endospermic, persistent, they are not completely consumed. But there are some few angiospermic plants, which are the monocot plants, which are non-endospermic in nature. That means the endosperm is completely consumed, and the orchid seeds, which are very small orchid seeds, they are actually non-endospermic in nature. So that is why in the different groups of the flowering plants or the angiospermic plant, we will find different types of seeds, and these seeds normally play a significant role in the life cycle of the angiospermic plant. Now we shall discuss how these angiospermic plants are very much important, or angiospermic seeds are very much important for the completion of the life cycle or the continuation of their generation from one generation to the next generation. Now, what are the important significance of these seeds in case of angiospermic plants? Now, the most important thing, as we have already studied, they normally protects the developing embryo. They protect the developing embryo. As we have already discussed, the embryo is present inside the seed, and the outer covering of the seed, that is the testa and tegmen, normally they protect the seed during its development from the unfavorable environmental conditions, either from the heat or the cold or so many other chemicals. Now that is why the most important role of the seed is to protect the embryo, which is the future baby plant and future generation of that particular plant. Now next important significance, that is it provides the food for the developing embryo. It normally provides the food for developing embryo. Normally the developing embryo, it needs the food for its development, and the food is supplied by the seed. So that is why this is the another important significance. Now, the continuation of the generation, because the seed habit or seed formation, it helps in continuation of generation. That means we can say it helps in the process of reproduction, or you can say it is the sexual reproduction. During sexual reproduction, what happens here? Normally, the ovule of the female part, the ovule which is present inside the ovary, and inside the ovule, the embryo sac is there. So, the embryo sac is well protected by the ovule, and inside the embryo sac, the egg cell is there, and this egg cell now develop into the fuses. After the fuses with the first male nucleus to form the zygote, this actually develop into the embryo, and this embryo is now protected inside the seed. So that is why the seed protects this embryo, and the seed actually helps in the development of the embryo, and after that the embryo develops into the baby plant. So that is why this seed helps in the continuation of the generation, or continuation of the species, or continuation of the race from one generation to the another generation. Now the next important thing is that the dispersal of the offsprings. The seeds helps in the dispersal of offsprings. Offsprings means what? If the seed is dispersed from one place to another, so automatically inside the seed, the embryos are present, and this embryo develop into the new baby plant. So when the seeds are dispersed, indirectly we can say that the offsprings are dispersed. So that in a particular area, suppose it is a tree, and just under the tree, if all the fruits and the seeds will fall, there will be competition among themselves. So that is why the dispersal is very much essential for the continuation of the generation. Otherwise, they cannot survive there in that particular place due to severe competition. So that is why the dispersal of offspring is possible due to the seeds. Now next one, that is the food. Normally, they not only supply the food for the developing embryo, but there are so many other animals. Normally, so many other animals, including human beings, they depend upon the seeds of the angiospermic plant for their food. For example, we are taking the staple foods like wheat or rice or maize or the pulses. So we are getting all these things from the seeds of the different angiospermic plants. Now the next important thing is that the variation. Normally another important process which is called the variation in the offspring. And this variation in the offspring normally only possible due to the formation of the seed. So this seed also helps in the variation. That means that is called genetic variation, because this variation occurs during the recombination, normally during the formation of the zygote, and this recombination process occurs only when the formation of the male and the female gamete. So either it is the pollen or it is the egg cell. But during this formation of the egg cell, normally the meiosis occurs. It is the special type of cell division, and during meiosis what happens? The crossing over occurs. And due to this crossing over, what happens? Normally the exchange of the segments of the non-sister chromatids occur there. So due to which the variation or the genetic variation is observed in the offspring, and through the seed it is transferred. Now next one, if the unfavorable condition is there then the seeds normally protect the embryo from damage or from drying or from death. So that process is called dormancy. Then what is this dormancy? During this dormancy stage, what happens? Suppose the condition is unfavorable, and when the condition is unfavorable, if the embryo will expose or embryo will start germinating, then what happens? It will definitely die. So that is why seed undergo the process of dormancy. It is also called inactive stage. It is the inactive stage of the embryo or the seed, and it is called the suspended animation. Suspended animation. That means during this process what happens? The metabolic activities become very slow. The metabolism or metabolic activity slows down. And due to this slowing down of the metabolic activity, normally the consumption of the food material and the activities of the embryo is very, very low or slow, and they are suspended and remain in inactive stage. But when the conditions now become favorable, when the condition become favorable, what happens? The seed now undergo the process of germination. Then how this germination process occurs? And after the process of breaking the dormancy, this process is called breaking of dormancy. And this breaking of dormancy, it is possible only when the favorable conditions or the conditions which are required for the germination, like your water, air or oxygen, and suitable temperature. So these are the important conditions for the germination. And when these conditions are available, and most important thing, there are some hormones like gibberellin. Hormones like gibberellin, they help in breaking the dormancy. And when the dormancy breaks, then only the germination starts. And that is why this dormancy process, it is another important significance of the seed. And that is why by this process, it protects the embryo during the unfavorable conditions. Now, another most important thing, of course, it is not directly related to the reproduction process, but here what happens? Now, the seeds which are commonly used by the farmers or by the agriculturists for their continuation of the agriculture process, whenever we are going for farming or cultivation. Now the seeds are the basis of this cultivation. So that is why when we prepare the soil, after the preparation of the soil, we sow the seeds there. Not the fruits or not the other part. But the seeds are used for the cultivation process or the basis of cultivation. So that is why these are the very much important significance of the seeds. So that is why we now actually visualize or we now observe how the importance of the seeds is there in case of angiospermic plant. I hope this video is useful for you, and if it is really useful for you, then do like it and subscribe for further videos.